The ongoing seek-out by Liat's pilots continues to affect passengers and to some extent events in Dominica. President of the National Council on Women, Josephine Dublin Prince, says a workshop on awareness and capacity building of civil society about trade-related labor and gender issues, which was expected to take place today, has been postponed due to the cancellation of Liat's flights yesterday.
Unfortunately, because the two main facilitators are coming from Barbados, the official opening and the workshop has been postponed to a later date. The workshop, the focus of the workshop was really to inform and build, to inform civil society, build and enhance their capacity to understand and engage on the treatment of issues as they relate to trade, labor, and gender. So we want to inform the public that and those who were invited to this important opening ceremony and workshop that the workshop has been postponed until another date.
President of the National Council on Women, Josephine Dublin Prince. On Wednesday, passengers to and from Dominica had been told that all Liat flights had been called off. That's after disgruntled pilots employed by the Antiguan-based regional airline Liat reported sick for duty, grounding the operations of the airline. The seek-out action by the pilots came a day after the chairman of the Leeward Islands Airlines Pilots Association, Captain Michael Blackburn, met with the acting chief executive officer of the airline, Brian Challenger, to discuss continuous issues of pay. Kairi News spoke to some persons who were affected by the seek-out on Wednesday.
I feel real hurt and disappointed because almost I had to do a medical today, and all they told me the flight canceled, and I'm very, very disappointed in Liat. I fed up with Liat. They tried to let down people and disappointed people. I'm very, very fed up with them.
I really vex. You understand what I'm saying? If you put me for Mokali travel, put me for Mokali travel. Every month pour aller voir sa femme qui s'est mariée. Et ça a brûlé moi. It burning me a lot because that's my first time I'm going to travel. And when I get the message, I feel quite troublesome. And I don't know what to do with the money I borrow. I borrow money to check my vibes. You understand? And I fed up. I don't know what to do now. So it simply means, well, that just put me off. So when I check Liat is just a fake. You understand? Just a fake.
Well, then I'm mad about it because I had to travel today, and then they told me today I had to travel, and then when I reached the airport, they said there was no flight today, and then I had to pay a taxi to go all the way to Melvin Hall, and I don't know if they're going to refund me back my taxi money. Of course I'm angry. That's not even a question that you have to ask. Of course I'm angry because I missed my appointment. They do not know what time they go to give me another appointment to Barbados.
I was angry. I was very pissed off. There was no assistance. There was no call or nothing to tell me whatever. No confirm of anything. And I have my children. I wanted to go over the weekend for them to come back. I have 8 children to take care of, so I have to look for another appointment.
Meantime, Corporate Communications Manager of Liat, Desmond Brown, tells Kairi News that all of the 100 daily scheduled flights had been called off.
All our stations are affected by the action by the pilots, so none of our flights are operating. As it relates to resolving the matter, I can't give you a definite time as to when there would be a resolution. We are hoping that this matter would be resolved as swiftly as possible. With the pilots about, they are represented by the body LIALPA, so you would need to contact them to find out what their contentions are. There was a meeting of the executive this morning to discuss the operation and how it's being affected. That's what that meeting was about. But like I said, as it relates to resolving the issue with the pilots, one, you would need to find out from the pilots what is the reason for their action, and secondly, our hope is that the matter would be resolved as quickly as possible.
Corporate Communications Manager of Liat, Desmond Brown. In more news this morning, Culture Minister Justina Charles says Dominica should not overlook the influence of the various cultural expressions that could penetrate the nation. Charles was speaking at the official opening of the 3rd meeting of the Ministers of Culture and higher authorities from the Alba nations on Wednesday.
While we must appreciate the uniqueness of a nation's culture, we must not overlook the influence of the various cultural expressions that can penetrate our various nations. We will therefore appreciate the need for us as Alba nations to share with each other the varied cultural expressions through which we can strengthen our bond of friendship. In short, our vision for culture will see us as brothers and sisters, even though we hail from Antigua and Bermuda, Bolivia, Cuba, Ecuador, Nicaragua, St. Vincent and the Grenadines, or Venezuela. It is the same vision that led the Honorable Prime Minister Roosevelt Skerrit to make the bold step to becoming a member of ALBA. Once ALBA was a group comprising Venezuela, Cuba, Bolivia, and Nicaragua, all Spanish-speaking countries, all on the American continent.
Culture Minister Justina Charles. A leading agriculture official says the issue of transportation to export produce to the regional market is a major problem in the region. Coordinator of the National Fair Trade Organization, Amos Wilshire, says a refrigerated boat should be given priority to ensure that produce for export is received in good quality. Wilshire says there's need to be more action than talk.
The Dominican Farmers Union in the 80s, we brought forward a steel hull refrigerated boat called Oscar Flower that we had in Portsmouth. So we did not only try to stay out there and speak like some organization and some people just talk and nothing coming out. We came out with a very good boat which was called the Oscar Flower. And because of poor management, that boat had gone down to a hurricane and we had it dock up in Portsmouth. We had it coming ashore in Portsmouth. Since then, nobody have really put together a proper boat. And that is some of the things we have. Transportation is part of our problem. We know an international airport is out of the question where we can have big cargo planes come in for some of our fresh produce to be able to bring into the region and extra-regional. But I believe that what we should do is invest in the right areas. Transportation is a problem in the region. We've been talking about that. We talk about that in Brussels. We talk about that in region. We talk about that everywhere, and nothing is happening. Transportation has been our problem. And I believe we should come forward with something to be able to do that. The refrigerated boat, I heard sometimes that the authorities been talking about 2 boats that will service us. And it's only talking. It's time now we stop talking and start acting by there.
Coordinator of the National Fair Trade Organization, Amos Wilshire. In more news this morning, Prime Minister Roosevelt Skerrit has said that Dominica won't change its stance on commercial whaling at the International Whaling Commission conference in Morocco next week. Almost 3 years ago, Dominica began abstaining on the issue, ditching its previously cast iron support of Japan, which has campaigned for an easing of the international ban on commercial whaling. Mr. Skerrit also rejected reports that Eastern Caribbean member nations of the IWC were to adopt a unified position ahead of Morocco's meeting.
I don't know about OECS going as one. This has not been discussed at the heads meeting where decisions like this are taken. Dominica's position still holds. Dominica will continue to support the sustainable use of marine resources, but in respect to supporting the commercial whale in Dominica is not going to be doing that. I made it very clear that our position remains and there's no change from last year or the year before. We shall continue to abstain from commercial whaling.
Prime Minister Roosevelt Skerrit. The meeting is expected to seek a compromise between pro- and anti-whaling countries, which may include allowing commercial whaling on a limited scale. President of the Dominica Cooperative Societies League, Clement Carty, is expressing dissatisfaction that a proposed harmonized bill for credit unions in Dominica has not yet been finalized for drafting. The proposed harmonized bill is expected to improve the current Cooperative Societies Act and to further improve the protection of member assets, among others. Carty says the lower house in the Antigua government have already approved the Harmonized Bill Act for credit unions.
I'm a bit unhappy that in Dominica we have not yet been able to do anything about it. Let me say to you that I was told that the Antigua Parliament, the lower house, piloted by a Dominican, Justin Simon, I can call his name, he's the Attorney General of Antigua, piloted this same document in the lower house. And it was passed by the lower house, it's now in the Senate just for ratification, if you want to put it that way.